Welcome back, everybody, to the Classic Firearms Podcast. I am Clint, and we've got with us today Larry Vickers.
Hey, thanks, bro. Larry Vickers from Vickers Tactical here. On the Vickers Tactical side of the house, CCW Safe is my presenter. They're the concealed carry experts in the industry. If you're looking for CCW protection, they're the people to reach out to. Check them out on ccwsafe.com.
That's perfect. So CCW Safe, is that what exactly do they offer?
They offer a membership program that covers a wide variety of concealed carry venues per se, and also weapons and a wide variety of things.
Okay.
They've taken a case all the way to the end where the guy won, which was at first in the industry. Really good guys out in Oklahoma City, real sharp at what they do.
So they're ultimately looking like protecting those in case you got to use your concealed carry in a situation.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's a membership program. It's different. It's a different animal than what a lot of people offer in the industry.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Good guys. I've known them for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good guys. Reached out to them about the podcast. They were very excited and ready to jump on it.
Sweet. Well, cool. Well, thank you, Larry. And we've also got another pretty familiar face, too, definitely on the Classic Firearms YouTube channel. And I think he has his own YouTube channel. We've got Don Sootch00 in the house. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks, Clint. I really am honored to be here, and especially with Larry Vickers. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Clint and I have a lot of fun already, so Larry's going to bring some legitimacy to this.
Yeah, if I'm not taking naps in SKS's crates, and things like that, right? But no, you just got done with a warehouse tour out here. You've been through the new warehouse before, but this time we really kind of opened it up for you, and you got to see some of the things that we've had stashed away, hidden away for a little bit. And so I think you saw some pretty interesting things.
Very impressive.
Yeah. And compared to the warehouse tour that you did, several years ago back at our old facility, this one's a little bit more clean and polished, but the old one, it had some character, didn't it?
Had a lot of character, a lot of cases, a lot of crates, a lot of guns falling out of boxes. You never knew when you opened up a crate what you were going to find. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah, literally.
And that video really took off because it was just so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the magic.
Right.
That's the magic coming to a place like this, or even back in the day. You don't know what you're going to open up and see.
Right. You open that crate up, and it's like, whoa, what's this?
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. But honestly, going out to the new place, there were some really cool things you guys have put into place just to give your customers more confidence, and that's the reason why we want to do that video.
Yeah, now we've gotten conveyor belts and stuff, oh my God.
Robot arms.
Yeah, technology. Right, I just hope it doesn't take over, a little AI take over and start trying to, I don't know. But anyway, no, so without spoiling too much, because we want to draw, of course, some of our viewers here, listeners, to your video of the new warehouse tour. What's one of your favorite things you saw?
The robot arm, probably. We had a great time, and there are a lot of things that really that make it state of the art, and it was really cool to see the process going through. Yeah, and then of course one of my favorites is going through the guns.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
And the surplus guns especially, but those are kind of hit or miss now. So
big time.
So when you get them, but it's really great to be able to look at them and see them, and then what you guys are going forward to as well, especially with JR,
James River.
James River. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of the Arsenal refinished. They do a phenomenal job, and it's the old Rockola.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they had a couple of the M1 carbines out there where they actually did the Parkerized refinishing on the metal parts. And it definitely they do a really good job with it.
One thing that I think a lot of people need to know is back in the day, Classic Firearms was known for surplus.
Oh yeah.
Now, not only a surplus, but you're a modern gun shop. You're a modern distributor. Every time I ask, hey, do you guys carry this? Do you guys carry that? And you go, oh, yeah, we carry it. Mm-hmm. We sell a lot of them. It's one of our best sellers. So I think a lot of people need to know that. There's obviously a lot of viewers or people listening that do know that, but there's also people that are kind of thinking the old Classic Firearms, which is, synonymous with surplus.
Yeah. No, anything, Ben started the company in the late 80s with a couple of sales of some Mosin Nagants at a gun show, and then from there he was like, man, this is pretty cool. cool. You know, there's a wide audience, or better yet, a wide customership on the internet. And man, you can do the Wayback Machine on Google or whatever it is, and kind of go back to what our original 2-dimensional website was. And man, it's definitely, I think we had Brutus was our little logo. You know, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty funny thing. And man, going back and seeing all that, and from the conversations I've had with Ben, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Ben has mentioned being on the podcast. Just throwing that out there.
Wow.
I know that. I
Very
think
cool.
did he make a sneak peek appearance in your video?
He did. He made it, yeah, for our intro when we were starting out. Ben got out there, and I've been on him for 2 or 3 years now that we've, you know, he's kind of taken a back seat a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was great to see him on camera. People are asking all the time, "Where's Ben? Where's Ben?"
Where's Ben?
So it's great to see him out there.
That's
cool.
Yeah, but yeah, he started the company in the late +80s, and he got into sell a couple of Mosin Nagants, and then from there, man, it's just whatever type of surplus he could find, and working with importers. And I mean, he's been around, you know, 30 plus years doing this stuff, traveling gun shows with him and his wife, you know, and yeah, so he's been doing a lot of cool things. But anyway, so Larry and I were walking around talking about surplus. You know, we're talking about, man, I think, you know, Ben probably got started in the business right maybe at that peak time where you could still find some affordable Mosins that weren't beat all to crap. You know, some truly good looking rifles. I mean, for, oh my God, you know, $60.
Yeah, $59.
Yeah.
When I was in the gun business for a while, and we would buy a crate for $33 a piece for those little carbines.
Oh my God.
$33. And I think even the SKSs were $59 a piece when they first came in.
Yeah,
at least
way
the
back in the
Chinese.
day, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Boy,
that was
those
crazy.
days are long gone.
yeah. Well, how about every now and then I see something pop up on Instagram and it just breaks my heart because I'm like, it's like a Sears catalog with machine guns, you know, for $120. You can have this Thompson or this Browning automatic rifle, you know? And I'm like, man, well, this sounds like the good old days, right?
Big time.
Oh my gosh, man. Talk about craziness. But anyway, so Don, Sootch00, dude, I mean, you've been doing videos for quite some time. What got you started doing all this?
Well, it's been 14 years. And it was funny when I first started. I mean, it was early days. My dad actually connected me with a video. He said, "You need to watch this." First time I saw YouTube.
Yeah.
And I ended up going down the rabbit hole, and I found some gun videos. And I was like, wow. And I thought, well, I love guns. So I thought, I'll show my guns. So I just went out and started doing some just really, they're really bad. But, you know, doing a few videos.
Yeah.
And what got me really going, though, were people that just kept asking questions. And I think one of the big things about YouTube is that people saw people shooting, and that it wasn't, you know, something weird, that it was crazy people that went out, but they said, this is mainline. People
this is a
enjoy
normal
shooting. And, you know, and it was funny because to me, it was like the gun community was marginalized a little bit. I mean, we still are to a point, but not as much. But I think it made people look and say, you know what, I'm part of a really large group of people.
Yeah.
And so it really brought in, and then on the survival side, which at first I was doing that with my Sootch channel, and then I started Sensible Prepper. Yeah. And that's become a whole monster in its own.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that a little bit too, especially with current world events.
Yeah, but
people,
we'll
talk about that
I mean, I remember getting messages from people saying, you know, what do I do? What do I do? And that's what inspired me. I didn't know that there was anything like ad money or I had no idea. I probably had 10,000 subscribers before I came across a video and somebody said, oh, my ad money hadn't been coming in. I'm like, you mean you can get paid for this? And I was like, yeah. So,
right.
But really, that my whole thing, and this is the big thing for me, is, and I believe that Larry's the same way, is that we have a mission. It's a mission. And for me, inspiring people to take self-defense as their own responsibility is key. It's critical. And then on the survival side, it's inspiring people to at least be somewhat prepared because you never know what can happen. And I think that is one of the biggest things that YouTube has done, is brought people together, and you know, it's definitely grown the gun industry.
Oh, without a doubt, without question.
The
Look at the number of people that, I mean, the way they know about guns is through YouTube.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, seeing an AK-47, and they're like, "You mean you can own that?"
Yeah.
Seeing an AR-15.
Yeah.
So
silencers.
But I'll tell you one story, and this guy is actually on my Patreon now, but he was from England. He said, I was anti-gun completely. He goes, I moved to U.S. for a job. He goes, I was in the Northeast. He goes, I stayed anti-gun, moved to Atlanta. And he said, I was going into a doctor's office, and on the door there was a sign that said, no concealed carry. And he went, you mean you can carry concealed? And he started looking into it. He said, I came across one of your videos. And he goes, I was like mesmerized, by just that people could have guns and shoot and enjoy them. He said, I went out, I bought a gun. I bought my wife a gun. We got her concealed carry. Now I have like 20 guns. He goes, my kids have concealed carry. I'm promoting it. And, and I've heard that a number of times where people would say stuff like that, say, I didn't even own a gun, but I came across not just my videos, but, there's a great group of people that really put out a lot of great content. And it's inspiring people. In fact, I was on the Moms Demand Action. I think I was number 9 for the most wanted because, of people that are inspiring people to go out and buy guns on YouTube. Yeah, I take that as a badge of honor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to bump those numbers up. You know what I mean?
How long ago was that? I don't even know if maybe I'm on that list.
You probably are. Yeah. It was about a year or two ago. It's a couple years ago. But this is one thing I'd always said is YouTube is putting out where people are being inspired, and again, like we started. And it's growing gun ownership, and it's responsible gun ownership, and it's people that are taking the Second Amendment very seriously. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it gives us a lot of clout.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can see that shift too, especially, I mean, the irony is that YouTube, they kind of go in a little bit of phases between like, okay, we'll allow a little bit of gun content, we won't, you will be monetized, you won't, things like that. But what's so funny is, a lot of times people just kind of know that YouTube is inherently pretty anti-gun. But at the same time, it's because of YouTube that you see this big shift in the community, and you see so many people actually learning and getting education, and then getting involved in pro 2A types of movement. And you see people now, like the norm before was like, oh, I'm just going to have my my carbine and my hunting shotgun, and that's about it. Now people are like, well, I want my SBR, I want my silencer, I want my night vision, what's the best body armor setup, and I'm going to take all this into my own personal responsibility. It's like, we are the militia. Oh my God, yes we are. And it's like, man, dude, I'd love to see it. I mean, you say it yourself, long live the Republic, and it's like, dude, there wouldn't be a republic if it wasn't for regular men taking up arms. That's right. And I think we're starting to see that shift too in the gun community, which I think is awesome, especially in younger generations.
Thank God for the founding fathers, man.
Oh yeah.
God, they were some smart people.
Yeah.
So I say that all the time. Mm-hmm. Man, those were some sharp people. Now, all right, I got to know, and I know there's a lot of people listening. Where did the name come from?
My son is named Seth, and when he was little, little guy, I'd call him Sootch. Hey, Sootch, what's up, Sootch? So when I started my YouTube channel, of course, again, no plan whatsoever, and I just thought, okay, Sootch00. And so now that when he was in his teen years, he didn't want to be called Sootch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Then when he got to be in his 20s, and a lot of his buddies watched my channel, now he's Sootch Senior.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so I'm Sootch Junior.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. So the 00 is just, not because you love double out buck or anything like that.
There is no thought to me starting things out. I mean, it was like, but I'll tell you what, you put Sootch in Google, and you just get Google, I mean, it was one of those things that just happened.
Yeah,
you're right. Unique name. Bingo.
Well, I love what you were saying about taking opportunities when they're put before you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, you don't even know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You're taking those opportunities, and those opportunities, you have a small window, and you get into that window. And I find, and I know you do too, with all the experience that you had and the way things just happened. Mm-hmm. And then when you came out on the other side, you were like, well, this happened, and this helped me here. This happened, this helped me here. I mean, same thing. It was like, once you get to it, you think, I was made to do this. Mm-hmm. And it's really funny.
Well, congrats to you for having over 1 million subscribers. I'm the new guy on the block with over 1 million. I just passed 1 million within the last month. And, of course, Classics had 1 million for a while. So congrats. And in YouTube, that's a big deal. We were talking about it. There's not that many versus the whole YouTube universe where there's God know how many channels with over 1 million subscribers, but in the firearms industry, that's pretty rare. There's not that many.
Well, it lets you know that it's not a matter of vibrato or pride as much as it is just knowing you're helping that many people out there, and it puts a big responsibility on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure you guys have met people too out and about in public and things. They walk up to you, and sometimes, one thing that's kind of funny is somebody will approach me, Clint, I love your channel and everything, man. And then like they try to rush off, and like you're bothering me, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, I'm just a guy that got into a really cool position, and I get to talk about something I'm passionate and I absolutely love, right? And now I've got some guy coming up to me saying, you're a big fan. I'm like, that means we have similar interests. Hold on, what's your name, buddy? What do you carry? Because I want to talk to these guys, and I think I'm pretty easy to relate to. I'm just a dude that likes to talk about guns. I think that's pretty much about most of us, and but our experiences differ. Like, I'm a Marine reservist. I used to be a payroll consultant, and I worked as a police dispatcher for a while, and I was a lifeguard before that, working at Best Buy too. I'm not that flattering, you know what I mean? And then you got, what were you doing before the YouTube channel, Sootch?
Well, I wasn't, special forces or anything like that, like
right?
our man Larry over here. It was funny. I grew up in the jewelry business, handmade crafting,
Really?
And,
yeah.
And then did that for a number of years. And then left that and went to work for a buddy of mine that owned a company, a cookie company. And so I became the VP of sales over time and traveled all the time.
Yeah.
And we actually baked the world's largest cookie.
No, wow.
It's still on record. It was back at 19 years ago because my son was born about that same time. But so, I mean, and I've got other things. I mean, there's a ton of things in there. My resume looks horrible.
Yeah. Because you're just all over the place.
Compared to Larry Vickers, who has like this awesome, But it's one of the things about it. You can come from any walk of life, but it's funny. People will come up to me and they'll do the same to me. Some of them will just give me that side look and they just keep looking at me. They're afraid to come up to you, and it's kind of like I'm honored when somebody comes up to me.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And but they'll just give you that sideways look. But I do. I think it's important, and people will say, "Well, you're just like you are on camera," and I'm like, I'm not an actor.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy.
Right. Yeah, just trying to be genuine.
I'm just me. I try to be me. I mean, I'm me,
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people appreciate about us too, is like there's no BS here. It's just, like, look, man, I like to talk about this stuff, and what you see is what you get. And if you like it, great. If you don't, all right, go subscribe to somebody else. I don't know what to tell you, I appreciate the support, But Larry, I mean, yeah, we've talked before, and man, you do have a pretty extensive past. We know you hate HK. But yeah, I mean, and I just learned about you too, that you actually had involvement in, they seeked your consultation, FN did, for the 509. Right?
Yeah. I had a buddy working for FN at the time.
Yeah.
And he said they wanted to redo their polymer frame striker fired guns. Mm-hmm. And he asked, will you come down and help? And because they're down in Columbia, and that's not far of a drive.
No.
At all. And I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. So I drug down a whole bunch of different striker-fired polymer frame guns, and we went through them. I talked to them about what was good and what was bad, and the engineers were taking all kinds of notes and everything, and then it eventually led to the 509.
Yeah.
And which is a pretty good striker-fired gun. I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. From what I understand, it's been a home run for FN. I mean, you guys would know better than me because you guys carry that gun and sell it in a variety of formats.
Mm-hmm. No, it's definitely a cool pistol. I know you've done a review on the 509 before, Don, and I do like it. I always kind of like critique the trigger a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, man, let me run another 100 rounds to it, spray some ballistol in it, loosens up, feels good. The new 509, what do they call it? The CC, the fancy one. I can't remember what it is, but that one's really nice and clean. That one feels good. That one's good. If you need to borrow it, I think we can figure something out. But yeah, I mean, yeah, no, that's that again, having that history too, to where some of these manufacturers, I mean, FN's got kind of a big reputation, HK obviously, and they reach out to you like, hey, we'd love to have your input on this. That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's really cool, and I feel kind of the same way too when some of these companies send us like a silencer or something like that, like, hey, tell us what you think, and I'd be like, I'll be honest with you guys, I mean, I have my iPro on and I'm still crying tears of joy. A lot of back pressure here, Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's still such an honor to be kind of like looked at and like, hey, you know what? This dude shoots a lot of bullets. Let's see what he thinks, type of things.
And here's the other thing. You've shot so many different things.
Yeah.
That's the thing you bring to the table that we all bring to the table that a lot of other people don't, is we see a wide variety of guns. We get our hands on a wide variety of guns. We shoot a wide variety of guns. So you have a depth of experience that the average guy doesn't. He doesn't have the opportunity to see. So they're going to come and say, hey, the FN 509, what's the story behind it? And, what does Sootch think about it? That kind of a deal.
Right. It's true because there's so many of the same genre. You know, the striker fire polymer frame,
right? Yeah,
and those little nuances do stand out because you had such experience.
Yeah, a lot of people will ask. You know, it's like, oh, the Canic pistol or the T-Sauce or a Glock. I mean, they're all striker fired polymer frame pistols. Like, what could possibly be the difference? And then it's like, well, have you shot them? It's like, no, I've only shot a Glock. And it's like, okay, cool, that's fine. But I can tell you there are differences.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just only in looks. There's a fill. There's different accessories. There's different whatever the heck might come in the box, right? And a lot of people look at that and they're like, ooh, there might be a little bit more added value over here compared to over there, or something this and something that, you know. And so, no, yeah, you're right. You know, that is something, too, that I think is kind of a blessing, is we get to put our hands on all sorts of cool stuff, you know. Unfortunately, one of the things I didn't get to shoot was the giveaway that we partnered up with you on, that Ohio Ordnance BAR. Oh, you remember that a while ago? Yeah. So we actually, we had the winner of fly out for, I think he won, it was a Scorpion or something like that we had. And I think he came out and joined us and shot it that day. Ben shot it that day. You did, you know? And
those
I'm
are
like,
cool guns, man.
Right?
Extremely well made. I know the guys, Ohio Ordnance, Bob Landy's and those guys.
Oh, yeah?
They're good guys. And that gun's extremely, everything they make is very well made.
Yeah,
everything they make.
It's so solid.
Yeah, they're known for their semi-auto machine guns, right? So our buddy Graham here, you know, you guys might recognize him as Photogenic Firearms. He is a nut for belt-fed semi-autos. I'm like, dude, you've got more. If you were to sell all those, you might be able to have a real one, you know. But no, he's got an Ohio Ordnance 240. Which is really cool. And he's got a couple others. He's got an MG42, a 1919 sitting over here, you know, stuff like that. So, but I mean, I think, again, that stuff's really cool. So, you know, partnering with you on a couple of different things now has always been pretty fun as well. And
well, you guys are close. Yeah. And it's fun. And, I mean, we have a great time.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to want it. The classic questions, of course. What's your favorite pistol? What's your favorite rifle?
Favorite. Narrowing it down just to one of each.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That you guys asked me that last time I was here.
We did.
Okay, well, one thing that, and I say this, if I only had one firearm, just one, it would be the Glock 19.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people.
Now, let me, and I'll say, I don't think that the Glock 19 is the ultimate gun.
Right.
I don't think that there are other guns that are more ergonomic. There are guns that have definitely with better triggers. The one thing about the Glock, and it's kind of started the revolution, is that I've put, over 100,000 rounds through Glock 19s. So I can pick up a Glock 19 and it's like coming home, even though the grip's thick.
Yeah.
But it is. It's just like boom. And then it's simple. You can change out. I can change out every part.
Yep.
I can do anything to that gun and have. And so that's why. But this is what I tell people. I'll say, I'm not telling you to go out and buy a Glock 19. Because there are other guns out there that for you could be possibly better.
Yeah.
HKVP9, which
big fan of that gun.
Oh yeah, it's a great gun. I mean the P30 is great too. But the Canics, I mean, are shockingly
good,
really good guns,
especially for the price.
And, oh man.
Yeah. Then you got Smith & Wesson, you got Beretta. I mean, you've got all these really high quality. And, I tell people you need to find out your preference. And that's one thing I try to stay away from when doing a gun review is giving my preference. Yeah. Because that limits, because people are different. Everybody's different. And but what's funny is I grew up on 1911s. I mean, I cut my teeth on them. Yep. And IPSC matches, even IDPA back in the day when, that was when polymer frame was just starting.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so a love for 1911s is beyond whatever. I mean, I'm just a huge fan. But for my carry, it's funny, though. What I'm carrying is a P365 XL.
Yeah. 365 macro right here in front of me.
Man, at 365, SIG hit that thing out of the park.
Yeah.
They really did. Yeah. But I tell people, too, you'll never go wrong with having a Glock 19. You could own one gun or 1,000 guns, and you'll never regret having a Glock 19 in that pile.
No. Yeah.
Exactly.
And on top of that, I mean, first of all, maintenance, easy. Reliability, it's there. Accurate, And then on top of that, what's cool is, if you want to run 17 mags in it, you can. It's not the other way around. You can do that, right? And if you wanted to have it as a concealed carry, you get yourself a decent holster. Man, that's an easy concealed carry. If you want it as a, outside the waistband, it's the perfect little size for all of that. So no, that's a solid choice.
Full size.
Yep.
If it shoots like a full size, but it carries like a compact.
Absolutely. I mean, Glock really kind of hit the nail on the head with that envelope, and now everybody's, SIG and everybody's kind of say, hey, we got to have a gun in this envelope, this size range.
Right.
Yeah. And they nailed that.
So then that leaves rifle. What's your favorite rifle? I know.
Well, I have my go-to rifle.
Yeah.
Is my AR.
Yeah.
It's just my go-to rifle.
Yeah. What people are going to want to know, what is the go-to AR? How do you have it set up, manufacture, all that fun stuff?
PCM Recce.
Yeah.
I mean, what else? I know
God
Larry's
bless
going to
him.
love that.
Yeah.
But Paul
God bless him.
is like the master, and I love him. And but yeah, the Recce is my go-to.
Yeah.
It's just the quality. The way it smells when you pull it out of the box is like
they have a particular lube they use, and I've had other people ask them, "Hey, what's your lube? It smells so good. I like it. Tell me what it is so I can get." And there's people that source it because of how it smells.
Yeah, I asked Paul. I said, "Please, just tell me what this lube is because I just love it." I mean,
where is a little cologne, just right on the back?
Exactly.
But and then as far as just honestly, my favorite is probably the M14.
Oh man, look at that!
I just love it. I don't know, or the M1 carbine.
Yeah.
Because I go back to that military surplus. I just love it.
Yeah, the M1 Action ultimately is just
There's
solid.
so many good guns out there.
More than ever.
Yeah.
More than ever.
I mean,
from us back in the day, because we graduated from high school basically within a year of each other.
Yeah.
We have more good quality guns and a wider variety than history right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we had Smith & Wesson Ruger. I mean, we had the basics, but now you're right. I mean, and gun companies are coming out with new firearms, new models. That we didn't have that.
Not at all.
Yeah. No, I mean, and what we're seeing now too, again, I think, again, we can kind of, going back a little bit, contribute that to the community, right? A lot of manufacturers are starting to listen to people too, like, oh man, you know what? It took FN for a while, but hey, you know what? Guys don't want a reciprocating charging handle on a SCAR. Maybe we should take that away. And then you've got other manufacturers like Foxtrot Mike, who's out here just doing all sorts of crazy things.
Those are nice.
Right. It's a DI AR essentially, but it's bufferless, or it doesn't have a buffer tube. It doesn't need it. You can run it with or without a stock or a pistol brace or whatever the heck you want to call it, depending on how you have your setup. But I mean, they're compact, they work, they run, and then you've got other manufacturers out there. I mean, HK's kind of listening. They brought us the SP5. Still waiting on an SP7, but we'll see when we get there, but it's cool because, now with, the internet and social media, people are out there all the time saying, well, hey, that's cool and all, but here's what we really want. It's like, oh, you brought us that. That's neat, but we want this, and then some manufacturers are out there and some companies are like, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, heck, I'm sure it happens to you all the time. It happens to us all the time. Hey, get your hands on this and review this. Hey, review that, review this, and
constantly.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it's kind of a blessing and a curse, social media, right? But no, I mean, yeah, so I think that's a big deal for sure. People listening.
Absolutely. That's what this is all about. It really is trying to interface with those people, hopefully give them some information that they can learn from, share, and whatnot. That's what ultimately this is all about.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yep, which, because what was it? SHOT Show earlier this year, we were at Glock, and we asked them about anything new and exciting. And of course, there were the patents out there, and they were kind of like hinting at, or not, they weren't hinting at anything, but there were the patents out there about like the Glock carbine, the Glock AR, or whatever it might be. And so, of course, we walk up there and we're like, so what can you tell us about this? And said, don't know what you're talking about, but I got some trivia for you. I'm like, what about new product? What about like, talking about some industry rumors or anything like that? And they're like, who started Glock? I'm like, okay, guys, whatever, it's fine. But of course, recently, I think we talked about this in our last podcast even. It's like they did kind of confirm like, hey, what you guys saw was real. It's a contract over in the UK and whatnot, But yeah, if you get your hands on one of those, you have to let me know, Don.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
Somehow.
Yeah,
if possible.
Yeah.
So that would be great.
Yeah, I think so. So let's, you mentioned your second channel, Sensible Prepper. And I've been watching it. One of my favorite videos is like the 13 things not to do or 13 mistakes in prepping, things like that, And I know a lot of people right now. I mean, I'm friends with the guys over at Mira Safety who provide the gas masks and all the CBR and protection and things like that. And awesome dudes, make a great civilian product, And They're comfortable, they work, and they're also one of those manufacturers that are listening to the community. They offer one called the CM6, which is a big visor. It allows you for complete field of view and visibility, but when you're trying to shoulder a rifle, it's a little cumbersome. So they have the CM7, which has the kind of the eyelets and also allows you to get a cheek weld. Okay, cool, but you don't have the visibility. So now they're coming out, I think, with like the CM8, which has a bigger visor, but it's cut so you can shoulder a rifle more. I'm like, that's pretty cool, you know? But I think a lot of people are kind of questioning, like, dude, you know, people are talking about nuclear warfare and nukes this and nukes that. Like, how do you even prepare for something like that? And I was just kind of curious, like, man, I think some people would like to hear from you about it, and, you know, especially that might be listening in. You know, I mean, what's your take on all that?
Well, it's definitely, we're probably more prone to have some kind of nuclear exchange than we probably ever had. And I know Larry and I both grew up in those years of the Russians, you know.
And we can talk about that some too.
And I think we're both probably disappointed at at what we've seen on the news with Ukraine as far as their abilities. You know, kind of putting them up on this pedestal and kind of watching things. But you know, we're definitely in a position. And it was funny when I first started my channel, I did survival videos, and people said, is this a gun channel or survival? And I was like, well, I mean, I can have a channel that has survival. So I just kind of did it. And but yeah, in March, with COVID and all that, during that 2020, I gained 100,000 new subscribers on that channel that month because people were, you know, and for good reason.
Out. Yep.
You know, because, you know, everybody's been so comfortable. And a lot of people just, and honestly, the majority of people feel that, you know, it can't happen to me. Well, that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. Which, you know, I mean, I've had my own thoughts about it. You know, I think, am I leading these people into a, and to be honest, in 2019, I was, in fact, I was walking from my shop to my house, and I just thought, is this really the right thing to do? Trump was in office, the economy was booming, things were going great, and I just thought, is this really what I should be doing? And I had probably 700,000 plus subscribers on that channel. And I thought, if I'm leading people wrong, that's not who I am. Right. I can't do it. I don't care what. And it was funny. I just had this impression that just said, just keep doing what you're doing. And then the next week, I have friends in China. And they said, we got some problems.
Oh, wow.
And I just went, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And then knowing that over 300,000 students from China come to the U.S. every year and blah, blah, blah. And so I kind of put things together, and it really tested out what I believe. And so one of the things about survival is I say that you're not paranoid. It's that you're be prepared, not scared.
Right.
And if you can just do some things, you don't have to go to doomsday preppers. You don't have to, I mean, it may be getting more toward that here lately, but you know, you don't just do something. Mm-hmm. And the better my neighbor's prepared, the better I'm prepared.
That's right.
And that's my whole philosophy with people. And it's the reason it's sensible prepper. Because when I first started my channel back in 2008, there were people out there on video going, if you hadn't stocked up now, it's too late.
Yeah.
And I would see those videos and I'd be like, what? You know, if you don't have your food put back. And people were panicked. They would contact me and they'd say, well, and I'd say, just breathe. Just breathe. Now prepare.
Right.
You know, do some things, get some things ahead. And so it's one of my big driving forces. And if COVID can hit like that, what else can hit like that? And so, guys, to me, and I heard recently that 7 out of 10 Americans are storing up food. 7 out of 10.
I believe it.
And in Europe, it's probably bigger.
Oh, man.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, you know, just a sickness, right? We just had Hurricane Ian come through. You know, natural disasters take place all the time. I mean, heck, when I was in Fort Lee, Virginia for some of my MOS training with the Marines, 2011, that was the first time I experienced a pretty good earthquake in Virginia.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember the building shaking and everything, and I'm thinking, that's a big plane taking off, you know? And they're like, get out of the building now. And that was just kind of like, that little bit was even a little bit of a wake up. I'm like, dude, I'm just sitting here building a classroom because the schoolhouse was still being built for my MOS. And I'm building this classroom. Next thing you know, all the computers I just set up are starting to fall over. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then we're told getting out. And it's like, man, if that was like really, really bad, you know, I mean, we see it all throughout the world, you know, whatever, how bad it might be, tsunamis even, or, whatever. It just depends on what part of the world you're in. Something bad can really happen. And all of a sudden, you're having this peaceful meal with your family. Next thing you know, where's your family and where's your next meal going to come from? And it's like, man, dude, yeah, at any point in time, it's not, again, you're absolutely right. It's being prepared, not scared. And it's being able to say like, hey, you know what? I'm looking out through the world and bad things happen and evil exists. How am I going to prepare for when it either comes knocking, when it comes knocking or it just shows up? And the very basic is self-defense and taking that as your own personal responsibility, And then from there, it kind of like, okay, I need to look out for my family. And you're right, too, about your neighbors, because we as human beings, we're a sociable creature. We're not made to be out on our own, just by ourselves. And if you can have a community has that same type of mindset, man, you guys are, that's a good way to go, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but anyway, so you've been doing Sensible Prepper for quite some time, and I don't know, have you worked with Mirror Safety, or do you know any other gas masks or anything like that? I don't know if you're.
I know Mirror is really top notch.
Yeah.
And I have used some of their stuff before.
Yeah.
Not in real context.
Right.
I have
Yeah.
used some of their stuff before, and it's really comfortable. There's a lot of different things they do, so I think it's definitely. And you start getting into that extreme.
Oh, yeah.
When are you gonna need that? When you gonna, same thing with a firearm. I mean, a lot of people think, they go, well, if you only have to have it once in your lifetime,
that's it.
It's worth carrying every day.
Yeah.
So same thing.
Yeah.
I used to say that there's two things that come to mind if you need it. Number one is a firearm, and number two is a 4-wheel drive truck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you need them bad.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll add a fire extinguisher to that.
Oh, boy, good point. I hadn't even thought of that.
Because I'll be honest with you. The only time I've used a fire extinguisher is after doing something stupid. But, it might have involved tannerite. But, it's like, just kidding, by the way. I'm responsible enough. But it's one of those things that, everybody says, well, why are you carrying that gun in your pants? When do you think you're ever going to need that? And I'm like, you wear your seatbelt? You carry a fire extinguisher? I was like, because it's really funny is you're going to need that seatbelt more times than you will ever need a firearm in your life. Mm-hmm. I've been involved in more vehicle accidents, which weren't bad, but I think I've been hit once, hit somebody else once. Yeah, but it's like both times I was happy I had my seatbelt on. Mm-hmm. And you are more than likely going to experience a very bad car accident than you will ever involve a shooting, right? But that doesn't mean I don't want to be prepared for it. And so that's something I think is, kind of a big deal. Yeah, carry a gun, have a fire extinguisher, know how to use it. Some people don't realize you got to pull a type of pin or anything on a fire extinguisher, and it's like, hey, you guys, yeah, you do. And one thing, you don't want to be learning how to do something when you need to do it.
No kidding.
And Clint Smith over at Thunder Ranch, he taught us that. That's why he did the entire collaboration with Century Arms and the Thunder Ranch AK. And he was like, I was shot with one. It does a pretty good job. I don't want to get shot with that again. And on top of that, first time I used an AK was when let's put it this way, I needed to use it, and he wanted to get more effective with it, type of thing. And he wants to teach that mindset, And I think mindset is another thing when it comes down to prepping, So being able to look out for that.
How many subscribers do you have on your Prepper channel?
700 and something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't always keep up with everything, but it's over. It's starting to get up there near the 800,000. So and it's. I mean, I could make a full-time job of just that.
Oh,
than having the gun channel. I stay pretty busy.
And
I'm a homebody. I am, because I've got so much to do. I work from home.
Yeah.
And have a range, but then I have a big range the Clinton house down in Clinton, South Carolina.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
That's my home range, and so I do a lot of stuff down there. But people call me, they want me to go here, want me to come there. I'm like,
Yeah. And do you upload regularly, I assume?
2 videos on Sootch, 2 gun videos a week.
Yep.
Wow.
And then we do a live on Tuesdays on Sensible Prepper.
Yep.
I have a good friend of mine, Robbie Wheaton, from Wheaton Arms, and then
Wheaton Arms, yeah.
Yeah, and then we do another video for that. So my daughter helps; she edits. She's working full time with me.
Yeah.
But I was doing it all by myself for a number of years. It was absolutely nuts People don't realize the editing and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah, the editing, man. I always used to say it's like an iceberg. The stuff you see is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole bunch of other stuff below it. The editing and big time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you were talking about when COVID hit. That's whenever, Ryan and I were, like, hey, they're telling people not to come into work and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, well, how are we going to figure this out? I mean, this is where the video room is. And next thing you know, it's like, well, let's just run into the warehouse, grab some guns, take them to my house, and shoot in my garage. Let's see what happens. And some of our most popular videos came from me sitting in my garage, and just filming, top 5 guns for home defense. And, well, let's just go walk through my house really quick. Yeah, it's pretty easy to maneuver, and that's what the thumbnail was, is me walking around with my Mark 18. And that's when we, in our mind, we were like, this is all we're doing right now. Why don't we just put out a video every single day? And we have a team that works behind the scenes, for the video side of things, for our emails, stuff like that. And it is a full-time job for multiple people. So you doing it by yourself, I mean, dude, big shout out. But, we were putting out a video every single day, and we did that for 860 days, something like that.
Wow, my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
We tried to go on, we tried to continue on, for as long as we could. And then finally it's like, dude, if I had my military orders come up and I had to go do 2 weeks, or I just wanted to take a vacation, it was like, dude, we got to film at least 4 videos today and tomorrow and the next day.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we have enough lead time. And sometimes, a video might not go out. Something might fall through, and it's like, okay, so we need to have a replacement for that video. And so now we've got a team of 3 editors, I think, and we're still, now we've narrowed it down a little bit, or scaled it back some. So now we're only putting out 5 videos a week. But again, we have a team that helps, and that makes a world of difference. It really does.
That's an unbelievable amount.
Yeah, and that's where we think, where we know for a fact, that's where a lot of our numbers came from. When COVID hit, people were sitting at home looking for something to do, looking how to prepare for the next worst disaster. How do I defend myself and my family? Now I'm stuck at home. Home invasions are on the rise, and now it's multiple intruders, not just one guy kicking in your door that's, hungry. That's what, some people have told me, like, oh, wait, somebody breaking in, their life isn't as important as your things. I bet he's just looking for a loaf of bread. Well, the news tells me otherwise.
Yeah, no kidding.
When I hear about a family
common
dying.
sense tell you,
yeah,
that he's not just looking for a loaf of bread.
Knock on the door. I'll give you a loaf of bread.
Yeah, exactly.
Break into my house. I'm going to blow you. I mean, not that I want to. I've always said that if I ever had to use a firearm like that, I'd kick them after I finished, because I'd be so angry that they put me in that position.
Right.
Because that's the last thing in the world I'd ever want to do.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of us, too, that carry a firearm. And if a lot of us that I've talked to, I think a lot of people get in the mindset, too, that, they look at us like carrying guns all the time. You're just looking to get into a fight. It's like, no, I just know what exists out there. And honestly, this is the very last option. This is the last line of defense. Typically, it's like, hey, man, just calm down. It's vocalizing. It's communication. And then if they want to take it that step further, then it's like, I'm sorry, you did this, not me. And I think that's one thing a lot of people look at is like, why do you need that gun? You carry that. You're just looking to get into a fight. You just want to be the next whoever. And it's like, nah, I can still carry instructor. When I took it 10, 11 years ago, he said he used to not ever carry a gun. Dan Stark over at Hyatt, I think. And he said, yeah, I never carried a gun until one day I was mugged at knife point. My wife was with me. I think he said, and said I was so afraid, not even of me, but of what was going to happen to her. He's like, from that day on, I got a gun. Haven't stopped carrying it since. Here's why I teach the classes. Here's why I'm real with you guys. And he has not one day, he said, has he ever gone without carrying a gun now.
Well, and one thing too is a lot of people, they'll get a gun and their spouse doesn't have a gun. And we have a connected family member that had a break-in one time. Guy was coming in, beating on the back door. He was an older gentleman, and it was out in the country. And he had a shotgun. And he said, you come in that door, I'm going to blow you away. And the guy finally got in. He was drugged out.
Oh, man.
And then they had a struggle.
Oh, no.
And finally the guy beat him down. He did beat him down to where, and he called the police. The police came out there. He had a heart attack after the police got the guy in the car. And he had a heart attack right there on his back porch. If that would have happened 15 minutes earlier, that guy would have had his shotgun. His wife was in the back bedroom with no gun. So one thing that's very important is to make sure that your wife or your significant other has a way to defend herself.
Absolutely. Even more so. I think Katie and I we talked about this at some point in a video or some point in the podcast, a different one, where it's like, you know what? I can pick up through our experiences. I think any of us could probably pick up a gun, doesn't matter what it is, and figure out, here's the controls, here's how to manipulate it. I can send rounds down range and probably hit the target, right? My significant other, on the other hand, maybe not. Yeah. I'm going to make sure she's got something higher quality than me. I'm going to make sure it is easy to use. I'm going to make sure she's trained up, right? And some people that say, oh yeah, I want the staccato XC, but yeah, my wife, whatever, Taurus G2C will work for her. She'll be fine. I'm like, dude, you got it all backwards, man. Make sure she's got the most reliable, easy to use, perfect thing for her, right? Go and spend that time, spend that money. That's an investment. I know how much I think my life is worth when it comes down to protecting myself with a firearm. My significant other, on the other hand, I'm going to make sure that that's invaluable to me. So what does she want? Right? So that's the way I kind of look at it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, Larry, we talked about your favorite rifle, your favorite pistol last time. You definitely said the AR-15 was your favorite.
M4, yeah. I've got so much time behind it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it just makes sense. That would be the go-to.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was your pistol option again?
1911, because once again, I've got so much time behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just boils down to, there's a lot of handguns I like, a lot of rifles I like.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, if I had to grab one or the other, that would be what I'd grab.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think this is kind of a good segue because we could probably get close to closing this one out, because we have a part 2, I guess you can say, to this, where we posted up on Instagram on our Classic Firearms Official. Make sure you guys are following Classic Firearms Official, because there are so many fraud accounts out there. I swear, I feel like one of those fraud accounts are more likely to get blue checked than us, and we're the legitimate account. But, here we are. Thanks, Instagram. But we put out there like, hey, you know what? I've got Larry Vickers and Don Sootch00 here in front of me. What questions would you guys want to be answered? And so we gotta Ask Me Anything coming up here, and we've hit some pretty cool talking points today, and I think we could honestly continue this on in another one and another one and another one. If Don wants to come back and keep looking at some old guns, I don't know, but no, I think we could probably close it out here. Unless there are any final points you guys wanted to hit on or anything like that. One thing I do want to say is just go over all of your social media one more time, so that way any of our listeners that for some reason don't know who Sootch00 is knows where to find you.
Yeah, Sootch00, and then Sootch_00 on Instagram, and Sensible Prepper YouTube channel, and it's one word, Sensible Prepper. And of course, Facebook and all that stuff. Yeah. But my main focus is on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Larry, of course, go ahead.
YouTube and then Instagram.
Yeah. Vickers Tactical, right?
Yeah. Vickers Tactical on both.
Yeah.
And then my Facebook page, I'm trying to get back up to speed. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm trying to get some help with that. You and I have talked about that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But really Instagram day to day, and then would be YouTube. Vickers Tactical on both. Yeah.
We had the Classic Firearms Buyers group where it was a private closed group. You had to answer a couple of questions, what was your last order number? What was the last thing you purchased from Classic Firearms? Because it was just for our customers, and it was a fun group, man. These guys getting in there, some of them are just diehard fans. Some of them thought I was an incognito character. You know who he is? William. And I don't, anyway, there's all sorts of conspiracy theories taking place there. We've just never been seen in the same room together, I guess. But anyway, but no, Facebook got a hold of that. People, sometimes we have a set of rules, but we just kind of let it build its own thing. And if you don't stay on top of it, next thing you know, people are posting links to firearms and everything else. And that group, it got a pretty decent following. I think we were up to like 20,000 in the group, something like that. We were up there pretty good. And then next thing you know, Facebook was like, you have access to it, but it's closed. It's done. So I can still go in there and look, but nothing's there, and so it's like, man, that really sucks. And then a part 2 started. Aforementioned name, I think, started a second one, buyers group, and it was very short-lived because that was no moderation done by us whatsoever. It wasn't represented by the company, and I was in there because I'm like, heck yeah, dude, let's do it. And it was shut down within a couple of days. I was like, all right. So Facebook, I don't think is as friendly as what it used to be, because we also uploaded for the first time, I think it was the best guns for suppressors, something like that. Yeah, best caliber for suppressant. That's what it was. And that one got just under, I think, 3 million views within its first upload. Within a week, I think. It was quick. And we were like, oh my God, what have we been missing out here? Let's another one. And then all of a sudden, I think Facebook took a look at what was being viewed. And all of a sudden, our numbers were like 15,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, from almost 3 million, that was quick. Oh, social media and guns, man, that's a hard one. But hey, thanks to everybody, listening and watching, subscribing, liking, following all of us here too. Again, Sootch00, Sootch_00, Vickers Tactical, and of course Classic Firearms Official. Man, you guys are what makes it worth it. First of all, you make it worth it, and we wouldn't be here without you guys. Well, Larry would be. I mean.
Yeah, I would be, but once again, CCW Safe is the guys that are hauling the freight on the Vickers Tactical side. Yeah. So I got to shout out to them again.
Yeah, which is awesome, man. So we're happy for you on that front, and we'll get you back in here soon, Don. We hope to see you again. And as always, yeah, absolutely, man. No, it's always a pleasure, guys. And I think we'll leave it off there. And so, guys, God bless. And actually, you know what, Sootch, why don't you close this one out? I like your closing. Go ahead.
Be strong. Be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.
That's what I'm talking about. Y'all have a good one.
Good one now.